Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Today we are going to go in with a trigger warning to start off. This is an old case. You will see at the end why I'm sort of regurgitating this one up again. But again, it does come with a trigger warning. So, please take that into account before you continue on to the video. Let's get into it. Aaron's mum and her boyfriend jailed. A selfish young mum became the first woman in Britain yesterday to be jailed for a new offence of failing to protect her child from her evil partner. Now, do remember this is a way back, but you'll understand. Wearing a blue tracksuit with a large crucifix, Rebecca Lewis wept as she was jailed for 7 years at Swansea Crown Court. Her former boyfriend, 23-year-old Andrew Lloyd, was given a life sentence with a minimum term of 24 years for a catalogue of brutal assaults on Lewis's 13-month-old baby Aaron. Drug taking, violent alcoholic, Lloyd, who admitted murdering the baby, also had tears streaming down his face as he was led away. In 5 hate-filled weeks, Lloyd first punched Aaron, then bit him, then tossed him up in the air like a rag doll. Lewis, who lived in one of the biggest housing estates in Wales, admitting Aaron shivered with fear when Lloyd approached, but only left them alone twice. I want to punch her in the face already, and I'm not even into this story. Finally, in a fit of frustration, Lloyd grabbed the child by the ankle and smashed his head against the wall. Concerned neighbours had seen bruises and lumps on Aaron's head and face, leading one to liken him to an elephant man. Swansea social services were alerted, but the authority claimed it was given the wrong address for Lewis. An internal inquiry is going on. Familiar homicide, which carries a maximum 14-year sentence, was introduced because carers of children who have died were escaping justice by remaining silent in court about who delivered the fatal blow. The first familiar homicide case went ahead in London earlier this year when an asylum seeker from Zimbabwe was given a community punishment after the death of her child, while her violent partner got 20 years. Jesus. Jalen Lloyd, Mr. Justice Langstaff's staff told him, "You subjected baby Aaron to a sustained catalogue of brutality in the last few weeks of his life. You hated the child, yelled at him, threw bottles at him, swung him by the ankles inside and out of the home, blew cannabis in his face. You will be 45 before you will even be considered for release." That's still too early. Lewis's barrister, Paul Thomas, said she accepted she was now to a hate figure for people in Swansea and would never be allowed to live there again. You think? Bitch, you show your face in Swansea again, you're dead. There's no ifs or buts. You're going to have the worst time. Mr. Justice Langstaff yesterday jailed her for 6 years for familiar homicide and 1 year consecutively for attempting to pervert the course of justice. What mother does this? Jesus, Lord have mercy. A group of Lewis's friends had tortured a prosecution witness, Wayne Lewis, at Town Hill for 2 hours with a rounder's bat, trying to make him change what he said to police about Aaron's last hours. What? a group of Lewis's friends, any of you out there who's listening to this and you are her friend, you should go in the corner or go and take a long hard look in the fucking mirror, because you are as vile and disgusting as she is. The judge told Lewis, who has a 10-month-old son conceived to a Swansea man after Aaron's death, you are intelligent, not inadequate or submissive. I do not accept in any way that you were a battered woman. You absented yourself from your responsibilities to Aaron for your own selfish reasons. Aaron died on the 6th of May after being transferred from Singleton Hospital, Swansea, to Cardiff University Hospital of Wales. Pipeline worker Gareth Gilbert, a granddaughter, I don't know what that says, Swansea, or the Ganos estate, Swansea, who had been having a relationship with Lewis when the baby was born, brought the child up for several months as his son, but the baby's biological father, according to Rebecca Lewis, evidence in court was a lorry driver, Phil Edmonds of Carmarthenshire. Mr. Edmonds attended court yesterday, saying afterwards she should have no longer. Should have got no longer. I only found out I had a son a few weeks ago when someone phoned me and told me what had been said in the court. I come to court to look at them both in the eye when they were being sentenced, and also to support Gareth. He telephoned me and thanked him for bringing up Aaron and properly until Rebecca Lewis fell in with Lloyd. Guys, man, this is just... Again, I'm going to put a trigger warning on this. There's more to come. There's a little tiny bit of justice coming at the end, but just say a little prayer for this little baby, for goodness sake. This is just another piece of it. It says, mother jailed after baby's death. A mother found guilty of familiar homicide for the 13-month-old baby in a landmark prosecution had been jailed for 6 years at Swansea Crown Court. Rebecca Lewis, 21, failed to prevent baby Aaron Gilbert's murder by her partner Andrew Lloyd, 23, in May 2005. The Swansea woman of a new offence of familiar homicide was the first in Wales. Lloyd, also from the city, was jailed for 24 years after admitting murdering Aaron, who died of brain damage. Lewis was one of the first in the UK to be convicted, which became a law in May 2005. She has denied the charge but found guilty last month following a 4-week trial. The jury at Swansea Crown Court heard that Lewis had begun a relationship with Lloyd following the breakup of a relationship with Aaron's dad, Gareth Gilbert. The court was told that although Lewis was largely absent during Lloyd's attacks on the son, she did nothing to prevent it. Lewis admitted that the baby became terrified of Lloyd and that she had seen Lloyd flicking the child's ears and his feet when he cried, picking him up by the ears and ankles and throwing him onto the bed or the settee. But she told the court she had trusted Lloyd and did not believe that he would seriously hurt the baby. So picking the baby up, flicking the baby is not hurting him. It's just as long as it doesn't seriously hurt him. Shut the fuck up, you dickhead. On the point before Aaron died on 5th of May 2005, Lewis left the baby with Lloyd for about 15 minutes to go to the shop. When she returned, Aaron was laying on the kitchen floor with Lloyd trying to revive him. The doctors at Swansea Singleton Hospital later Later, the University Hospital of Wales, Cardiff, tried for 18 hours to save Aaron's life, but he died of a brain damage. Paul Lewis QC, prosecution, said Lloyd had caused a combination of 50 injuries, including extensive swelling, bruising, significant internal injuries to the brain, and a bite mark to the child's face. Lloyd had initially denied Aaron's murder, but charges to his plea to guilty during the trial. Passing sentence, High Court Judge Mr. Justice Langford told Lloyd, "You murdered Aaron after subjecting him to sustained regime to beating during the last 4 weeks of his life." He told Lewis that he had allowed the violence against Aaron to continue for her own selfish reasons. "You put your own interests first, above and beyond that of a vulnerable child," he added. "You could have stopped the violence that Lloyd was subjecting Aaron to. You could have easily got the authorities to step in." Detective Sergeant Inspector Paul Burke of South Wales Police said he was pleased a difficult inquiry was over. He said "We are pleased with the outcome and relieved for the family who have been through an extremely sad and upsetting period. Perhaps now his family and friends will be able to close this awful chapter of their lives and move on. Our thoughts are with them all." Familial homicide was introduced in a Domestic Violence Crime Act in 2004 to deal with parents who keep silent or blame each other for a fatal injury involving children. A 21-year-old mother received 2 years community order after being convicted of the offence in April 2006 in South London. NSPCC Cymru Wales Director Greta Thomas said, "All the Aaron Gilbert case with this new law is likely that Rebecca Lewis and Andrew Lloyd would be joined a long list of couples who have been acquitted and not even brought to trial for murdering a child." Baby killer told he must serve the full jail sentence. The man who murdered baby Aaron Gilbert has been told that he will serve every day of his 24-year sentence. Andrew Lloyd had appealed against his jail term after he was sent down for battering the 13-month-old to death, but his bid to refuse, and he will have to stay in prison until 2031. That's still not enough damn time. That's only another 10 years. The 23-year-old of Gweleffa Road, Town Hill, was jailed for life at Swansea Crown Court in October after admitting the murder. 13-month-old baby was the son of Lloyd's girlfriend Rebecca Lewis, who's become the first Brit to be jailed for familial homicide on the basis that she failed to prevent his death. At the appeal court on Friday, Lloyd's lawyer argued that the sentence took insignificant account of the youth or tumultuous personal background. I don't give a fuck what his background is. But Lord Justice Gage said Lloyd had inflicted significant and extreme abuse, and that for his personal history, a 30-year tariff might have been imposed. Baby killer Andrew Lloyd, who murdered 13-month-old Aaron Gilbert, found dead in prison. My heart is bleeding for you. He died while serving a minimum 24-year term in prison for murdering baby Aaron back in 2005. To be fair, whatever. The murder of the 1-year-old boy who was serving life in prison for his evil acts has died behind bars. Andrew Lloyd murdered his girlfriend Rebecca Lewis's 13-month-old son, Aaron Gilbert, after subjecting him to a 4-week catalogue of brutality back in 2005 in Swansea. The prison service is now confirmed that he has died while serving his prison term at the age of 37. A spokesman said, HMP Full Sutton Prison, Andrew Lloyd died in custody on November 19th. The prison and probation ombudsman has been informed. A Swansea Crown Court jury had found Lewis guilty of failing to protect his son from violent drug taker Lloyd at her home in the Town Hill area of Swansea. Lloyd viciously attacked the baby when he was alone with him on the 5th of May. Heartbreaking. He lost his temper and shook Aaron violently, causing his head to collide with a wall. Lloyd killed 13-month-old Aaron Gilbert after subjecting him to a sustained 4-week catalogue of brutality. Mum Lewis had left Aaron with Lloyd while she went to the shops, even though she knew he had assaulted him during the weeks of abuse. After Aaron died in hospital the following day, a pathologist found several brain injuries and almost 50 external injuries. Lloyd, then 23, was sentenced in December 2006 at Swansea Crown Court with Aaron's mother, the 21-year-old Lewis. I just want to punch her in the face. He was given a minimum of 24 years in prison, meaning he would have been 47 if he had served the full term. Lewis was jailed for 7 years for familiar homicide and attempted to pervert the course of justice in what was a legal landmark at the time. She was one of the first people in Wales and England to face the charges. At the time, Swansea Crown Court heard that relationship between Lewis and Lloyd began at the end of March 2005. After moving in with Lewis, Lloyd developed a hatred for baby Aaron. Aaron Gilbert was just 13 months old when he was murdered. My good God. The jury heard how he had yelled at him, picked him up by his ears, thrown bottles at him, swung him by his ankles, like someone swinging a cat by the tail, put a blanket over him as if he was smothering him, and blown cannabis in the baby's face. There is also evidence that 5 days before Aaron died, Lloyd bit him hard on the cheek. Aaron became so disfigured by being systematically and violently assaulted that a neighbour likened his appearance to that of the Elephant Man. Sentencing Lloyd, the judge, Mr. Justice Langstaff, said that at the time you murdered Aaron and subjected him to sustain a catalogue of brutality during the last 4 weeks of his life. I regard your conduct during these 4 weeks as being effectively inseparable from what you did on the day when you inflicted that fatal injury. In 2007, Lloyd's case reached London's appeal court as he challenged his minimum jail tariff of 24 years. His lawyer argued that the sentence took insignificant around of his youth or his background. I don't give a shit what background he's had. But Lloyd Justice Gage said doctors had noted 50 separate injuries on Aaron's body after his death in May. The injuries covered his small body from his head to his feet. He said Lloyd has inflicted significant extreme abuse, and for his youth and background and turmoil, a 30-year tariff might have been imposed. This is a dreadful case. he concludes at the time he rejected Lloyd's appeal. So should we start singing Ding Dong, the twat is dead now? Or should we have a bit more respect? Because I'm not going to have any respect, but you guys can if you want. Karma's a bitch, and it come and bit you in the ass at the age of 37. Well, we had a little bit of a hallelujah that he will never get out. He's never gonna hurt another child again. He is now, what, ashes, 10 foot under, whatever you want. But the fact that she only got 7 years kind of pisses me off a little bit. She, as the mother, should have been protecting her child, and she didn't. That pisses me off. And I can't imagine people in Swansea, or anybody reasonable in Swansea, that would just stand by and let that happen. And her friends that, like, hurt a witness, I think they need to take a long hard look in the mirror. I'm not even kidding. Like, come on, what's wrong with you girls? You should know better. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. And I will catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.